Welcome in, welcome in. All right. Powered by Riverside FM. When I go through the editing, we'll see if that shows up. But anyway, it's good to be here again. It's always good to be here with y'all. Primed, focused, and ready to go with um, knowledge that they won't teach you in college because it's a hidden message. It's hidden right in front of you. It really is. This stuff is hidden in plain sight. But unless you have eyes to realize the realities of Maya, a Maya is actually not real. Maya is an illusion. That's why they give us media, because media actually are Medea. Remember Medea? Remember these movies, Medea? Medea is from media, and Medea is actually the goddess of illusion. Hollywood is full of the illusionary. That's why when we look at the Matrix and we look at the reality of every aspect that we were given that we didn't create when we come into this earthly plane, right? What we call Earth. And what we see is nothing is original. We don't create anything original. It's already here, and then we partake of it. Then we find out it's all controlled by the same entity, organization, and construct that controls everything about it, from the banking system to the mints gov, to the religious orders, all of them, especially the recent, from Om with the R, right? Om with the R in front of it. All these aspects that we're taught is not really what it is. So what ends up happening, let me see if this changes stuff. I'll put this light on me more. Gives us a false identity. Let me do something here with this real quick. I'm going to put this light on over here. Hang with me, folks. I want to get a better look, see if that helps with the background. I want to see if that helps with the background for sure. I want to see if that helps with the background. Little bit. All right. Give me a little light. I was going in and out. To me, I look like it. You guys might, when after it goes through the processing, look fine as wine. But going back, yeah, from the educational system, from the medical system, here in all jacked high, if you know what I mean, if decode. Just reverse engineer those words, and you'll know exactly what I mean. Wink, wink, hidden in plain sight. That's why they'll even make you movies called Eyes Wide Shut. Always been secret societies. It's nothing new to America. America copied. America was last, or this time we live in was last. Rome didn't do anything new. It just took all the information from all the cultures before when it went and took all their stuff, right? You know what? Over there in Rome, there's a obelisk they took from Egypt, which was Kemet. Yeah, they took one of their, because they know it's an energetic something, but they won't necessarily tell you. We just keep getting more information within ourselves because it's the age of everything that's hidden is being revealed, right? That's what revelation means. Whenever Book of Revelations is this, the word means hidden, right? The word means hidden. Like, just like people, the occult, the cult. The word cult means hidden. They gave you an indoctrination to go off the end, or they hijack it they do symbols. So the only way to understand things certainly here is decoding and when you read the symbols and decode things, you see clearly. The rain is gone. There's an old song. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I'm not saying I'm a great singer, but you understood what I said. But decoder, definitely in the wheelhouse. But anyways, we're going like we did. How'd you like yesterday's assemblage point? It's me establishing where we are and what we are. But we come from a greater light. We are the light. We are. We are finding that which is hidden from us, even within this veil of a body, to know that the kingdom and your soul and spirit is the origination of you. The body, well, it's like I used to use this term back in the day in my Christian esoteric days. When you see a turtle, what do you see? And you go, well, you can see its head and its legs, but it can pull it in. And I go, you see the shell. But guess what? The shell's not the turtle. Bingo. Who you are in your origination is not a physical body. You fell into a place where you became physical, your physical body, and trapped your light body, who you are, origination. And now you're in matter. Many would say stuck in matter, living in matter, right? Because bodies always end. But you, being that divine light and soul, don't really have an ending. Maybe not a beginning if we get real deep here. But anyways, we're going back into, we talked about the assemblage point. Anybody take that video and go look it up and see some of the other comms we had with it? Might be opening some of that up on some future videos about the assemblage points. Yes. How about our torus field, in that where the assemblage point is, in our energetic field that look like an egg? We line it up and we start being the creators within that, and that we speak things that, even though they appear not, as though they are. And blockages leave, lack leaves, especially in a time when lack's being pushed by cost and prices, right? What if I was to tell you the mark of the beast is not a computer chip in your head? It's been a mindset given to you of war, or us against them, and kill them. We got to win the war. We're number one. Go ahead and smash them. And that's the mark given by a war god that just loves war and chaos. But you're a divine light being that sees things, and things just don't make sense anymore. And you question things. Some don't question nothing. They just follow like a like a non-player character. We talked about that before. Really? I mean, we see it. How many do you know have no clue? I've met no clue. And what I've really learned is you cannot make somebody know something or learn something that they don't know. The more we try to push what we know on them who have no clue, actually gives you anxiety, not them. Gives you doubt and feeling bad, and not them. And then this carries over to us and maybe knocks us off our assemblage point, because we have this, we've been given this thing to go recruit everybody and bring them in. You need to go do it. And then this was done in all religions. And then we see Jesus said, you guys are like them, talking about the old religion, Old Testament, that you guys want to go make men followers of you. And there's a word I'm missing that I want to use, because that word talks about this. Remember that? That word it talked about it. It was going to always trying to go and recruit men into your religion. There's a word he used in the canonized version. Can't remember it offhand exactly. God, what did he say? Now it's bothering me. But I'll go back to assemblage point, because it will come back to me again. Many of you guys know what I'm talking about, who are Bible, Christian Bible folks that came out of that tradition. And if you didn't, you might not know, but it's a word that goes with them that are always trying to recruit people into there. And Jesus told the ones of the Old Testament, you guys are always trying to recruit people, a certain word, not recruit. And he just told them it ain't the deal, baby. And yeah. But anyways, But what's the deal for us that know and are trying to raise our frequency and vibration and stay in a day when there's so much out there to take you off your focus, to make you go get into, especially adding social media to all this, even getting arguments or be against people, divide the game, to even be awake and fall into it when somebody doesn't see things the way you do, and might even get frustrated with that, because there's just things we need to let go. And we can. Assemblage point. But anyways, let's do this again. I told you I had a terrific video today of a very, very young lady that is just like beyond her years. This is one of those ones, is an old soul. Her name is, this young lady, and I've shared videos in the past, Gabbie, Kovalenko. In junior high, she wrote a newsletter in her junior high about consciousness that blew the school's mind. That was way, 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 way above her ears. Go look up her information. And she's so eloquent in speech and so well-rounded in certain things, and bringing out things that are even modern and with dealing with this. Because I knew about Carlos Castaneda. I didn't know about the Toltecs, the lucid dreaming, the power they had, learning how to lucid dream by even imagination, using the imagination that you have, your imagination, to create. If you wanted abundance, you might even go by the riverbank was one of the things they do. Why? What's by the riverbank? What controls a riverbank? The crocodiles. And you would become a crocodile, and you would see that. And it wasn't crocodile to destroy people. It was to control the water bank or your money. Control the bank. Did any of you guys know the banking system goes into all the water bank and the river banks? But anyways, I've rambled on enough. I got a very short video. It's not one of those long ones that I shared earlier, but it gets to the point, and I'm going to share it, and we're going to get along with this and go. Yes. Let's go. We're going to go in real quick.
The world you perceive, your memories, emotions, even your sense of time, is not a reflection of objective reality, but a field constructed around a single point of energetic coherence.
Us.
A point so pivotal that even the slightest displacement can alter your experience of life entirely. This axis of perception, long known to mystics and recently echoed in frontier science, is called the assemblage point. It is a dynamic locus in the human energy field, a spatial coordinate of the self where electromagnetic, scalar, and neurological processes converge to generate the illusion we call reality. The term assemblage point entered contemporary awareness through the teachings of Carlos Castaneda, whose apprenticeship with Yaqui sorcerer Don Juan opened a gateway into a radically different vision of human perception. According to Don Juan, each person is enveloped by a luminous cocoon, a field of awareness that surrounds the body. And within this field, there is a specific location where perception is assembled. This point, luminous to those with the eyes to see it, floats within the cocoon like a star in space. Its position determines the world we perceive. When it is fixed in its habitual location, we see the world of ordinary reality, the physical, the expected, the explainable. But when it shifts, other realities become accessible. Entire worlds, dormant, parallel, sometimes dreamlike, or utterly incomprehensible, come into view. To shift the assemblage point Don Juan taught was to reclaim our birthright as seers, to perceive directly the infinite bands of awareness available to human consciousness. This act was energetic. A movement of the assemblage point was a movement of being, a reorientation of the soul's lens. Such teachings once dismissed by Western rationalism, are increasingly echoed in fields of study that explore the holographic nature of consciousness.
The assemblage point is an area this big on your energy body. And from that viewpoint, you see a whole different worldview. If you shift that assemblage point a little bit, your view changes. So you shift it this much, you can go from feeling terrible to feeling joyous. If you shift it maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, you start seeing other realms. So in shamanic practice, we want to keep that fluid. We want to keep the assemblage point fluid so we can see different viewpoints. Normally, we're stuck on one viewpoint. For most people, it's the rational, logical way of looking at things. And that's so limited. So if you want to have really wonderful experiences shamanically and superordinary powers and all that, you must shift your assemblage point.
For the Toltec seers, the assemblage point was the cornerstone of true power. According to Don Juan, to access the assemblage point, one had to first quiet the internal dialogue. The constant narrative of the mind, he said, acts like an anchor, fixing the assemblage point in its ordinary location. Only when thought is silenced, through discipline, intent, or shock, can the point begin to loosen, to drift, and eventually to move. Dreaming was one such practice. In heightened states of lucid dreaming, warriors could observe the position of their assemblage point and deliberately shift it, exploring new worlds as real and complex as waking life. Recapitulation, the act of energetically reclaiming one's life force from past events, was another method, freeing trapped energy and increasing mobility.
The assemblage point is a beautiful construct where there's a point, they have this point where everything assembles. You could almost call it the identity.
Yeah, the identity, beginning the identity.
You know, it's how you see the world. You know, I'm a logical man. I'm a rational man. If I got to see the numbers, I got to see the proof. But if you bump that assemblage point, then there's a whole new
feminine aspect
segment of the frequencies is available to you. And so now you can see things like empathy and see things like love and see things like beauty or poetry. And if you bump it again, the assemblage point, then you're open to, say, even spirituality, or philosophical questions. Who knows, And so the notion that you can move that assemblage point around is like a really nice way of visualizing it.
Don Juan described the assemblage point as a fluid intelligence, sensitive to discipline, heightened awareness, and impeccable intent. Strengthening it required a fierce clarity of purpose, a life lived not for comfort, but for alignment. To keep it steady in a new position meant anchoring perception not in habit or identity, but in direct knowledge. When stabilized in expanded positions, the assemblage point opens the gateway to nonlinear time, telepathy, heightened perception, and deep silence. The warrior who masters this becomes a true navigator of reality and a participant in the shaping of it. Evidence suggests that awareness is not confined to the brain, but rather distributed across a complex electromagnetic ecosystem centered in the thoracic region, particularly around the chest and spine.
The heart.
This is where electric, magnetic, and scalar forces converge with the highest intensity. Clive Baxter's experiments in primary perception, HeartMath Institute's findings on heart-brain entrainment, and the emerging field of biophotonics all reveal a distributed architecture of consciousness, capable of coherence, adaptation, and non-local resonance. At the center of this architecture lies a high torsion nexus, located just above the physical heart. It is here many believe that the assemblage point resides, a dynamic interference node where field information is translated into perceptual stability, a sort of energetic aperture through which the self constructs the real. Physiological and energetic disturbances, whether caused by trauma, intense stress, or emotional rupture, can dislodge this focal point. When that happens, the perceptual framework begins to fragment. The world loses vibrancy. Emotional depth recedes. The familiar becomes alien due to an altered electromagnetic assembly, as if the lens through which life is rendered has been knocked off axis. Just as a telescope slightly misaligned produces a skewed image, the displaced assemblage point distorts the narrative of self and the field it inhabits.
There you go.
To understand this more clearly, imagine the assemblage point as the focal setting of a camera. When correctly aligned, light enters and a coherent image is formed. But if that lens is nudged by shock, grief, or trauma, the image becomes distorted.
Yes.
The content of the world doesn't change, but its clarity, contrast, and framing do. The reality you inhabit appears altered because the perceptual lens through which you engage it has shifted. To return to clarity is to realign this point through coherence. Many ancient lineages encoded the existence of this axis into their spiritual and anatomical systems. The Tibetan Bindu, the Kabbalistic Dot, the Vedic Hridaya, and the Egyptian loop of the Ankh all reference a central convergence point where form meets formlessness, breath meets light. When we speak of shifting the assemblage point, we're describing a shift in the interference pattern of the human field, the harmonics by which light, sound, and electrical signals converge into meaning. To change the position of this point is to alter the very syntax of reality. Perception widens, synchronicities increase. The sense of self becomes permeable to something larger, more intelligent, more whole. What was previously dismissed as invisible now comes into focus because the lens has been tuned to receive it. Research into biofield coherence continues to confirm what mystics have intuited for centuries, that coherence precedes clarity. Breath, intention, and awareness have measurable effects on the electromagnetic ordering of the body. When heart rhythms enter into coherent resonance with brainwaves, and when scalar potentials across the chest stabilize, the body's field reorganizes into a toroidal structure. It is in this structure that the assemblage point finds its natural seat, a center not fixed, but harmonized by order, rhythm, and meaning. Displacement, then, is not pathology, it is a loss of resonance. And healing is not the imposition of will, but the invitation of harmonic remembrance. There are practices that return the access to stillness. Breath, when slowed and deepened, entrains the nervous system to a more ordered state. Toning and sonic resonance stimulate the chest cavity, activating the electromagnetic field around the heart. Stillness, silence, and conscious gaze stabilize the reflective interface between the inner and outer worlds. These are the technologies of perception, methods by which the assemblage point, like a compass needle, realigns to magnetic north. All in all, the assemblage point is the sacred axis by which perception becomes reality. It is where your attention becomes matter, where your breath meets the field. To work with it is to become an architect of perception, a steward of coherence, and a traveler of inner terrains once obscured by noise, as you come to realize that you are the fulcrum around which your experience is assembled. So remember, you are the field, you are the mirror, and the power to shift the real has always lived within you.
Powerful. Certainly really, really, really powerful. Let me go back, stop sharing, go out. All right. Very good video. This is getting down to doing the work on ourselves to get where we need to get. I believe it's with this time we're in too. We're called to a higher space of self, of waking up, of Christ, and getting to know ourselves and our energetic fields in our energy and how we operate is going to be needed in various times, I believe, that we see coming. And also our experience of ascension, of going through the ascension necessary, for ascension. This is so empowering. So empowering. And if you're not empowered in a world, that's why I said I'm in the world, but not of it. I'm not connected to what the world is, would be that is. And that world doesn't mean the world or people. It means a system. We know what the system is. Many of us, anybody new that's open to it and ready and not, oh, I don't know, no. But somebody's like, I want to learn. I feel it. I know it. I don't know it. Welcome in. And those of you that are vets here, are vets spiritual with your spiritual enlightenment, this place is for you too. And you're welcome here. Make this your home. We're looking for growth, unity, and expansion in oneness. Not to fight, argue, and fuss and divide, that we see everything outside of us from every aspect, and you know exactly what it is if you're a knower. And then we end up blaming those other side when we're both sides being played by, need I say more? But this is powerful. Her videos are so powerful. When you've seen it, you've seen the toroidal field, the torus, right? The toroidal field of energy that is around you, that's going zoop around back again, and would be your aura. Many would say you would see a colors of aura, but that field being interrupted and being imbalanced by that assemblage point being off would give you perceptions that would make you dive low or dive down, which dive is the same root word in etymology as die. It's not life. It's not the living, right? The words I speak are spirit and life, and power is where in the tongue, confession. Speak those things as though they are, even though they may not appear yet. Physically, you're a creator and you're divine, not cursed. You're not a sinner. Come on now, we're going to break it down. You're the divine. Sin's a moon god. One more time. Bad behaviors are there for them that minds are always evil, right? Things are very obvious to us, but doing the work in the next level things, in the next level spaces, and the next level empowering of yourself to your highest state of who you are. Ye are divine. Everyone underneath my voice now has the part to be divinity, but who's willing to go in there and do the work and snoop around and not walk in fear, not live in fear, but able to know that you are the power. And sometimes you have to use your maps, and you may take the wrong block, but you just use it around because you have a GPS and you are maneuvering in spaces that you've experienced before, but we've kind of forgotten. But anyways, next ways. Thank you. This was Assemblage Point, the hidden switch is what I called it, of your, the hidden switch, because that was her video, hidden switch of reality. I just put that Assemblage Point. But you guys have a great day, and I appreciate all. Please give. When I edit, you'll see everything that's here that's needed. You guys have a great day, and I appreciate you. Definitely those in the community that are here. Give me texts, give me calls, give me likes, send messages. Appreciate you. Love you. The people from India. I was really surprised when I look at my monthly statistics and seeing the eyes on from India. All right. Yeah, you Indian people. Abrahamic religion. Abraham is A added to Brahmin. And Saraswati, Sarah is a copy of Saraswati. Know that. They got it from that. You guys have a great day.